Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rants and Yarn with Two Best Friends. It's a rainy Sunday here in California, and over there in Nevada.
It's sunny and cold.
Okay. Well, here in California, we need all the rain we can get, so I'm just happy. I don't care if I have to wear my boots and splash in the rain. I'm just happy that we're getting rain because we need it. And in our first piece of news, Bill and Hilary Clinton launched their paid speaking tour, which started in Canada. And the first place where they spoke, it was a venue for 19,000 people, but only 3,300 people actually showed up because it's paid. They have to pay. And I'm not saying that they're irrelevant. They should just be happy with the number of people they get that want to listen. Because you can't fill up all the seats because Bill and Hilary, they're already irrelevant. What's more for them to talk about except for the impending issues that are going on now and some other topics that they want to discuss, you know?
I think they're decreasing in popularity, and how much do they want for those seats, you know? And what do they need all that money for?
No, I don't know how much they were, but at the end they were like decreasing the price just to get seats filled.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I don't know how well they're going to do as they continue, but in my opinion, it's just they should just retire and find something else to do.
Yeah, retirement. They're at a good retirement age. I'm sure they've got enough retirement funds, unless they were really bad with money, which wouldn't make sense for what they've been doing all these years.
Yeah. Okay, in another piece of news, Sanders concerned about climate change, but uses private jets to get from state to state. Hypocrisy? Hypocrisy much?
Yeah. This climate change nonsense, just don't be so arrogant, humanity. You can see your immediate surroundings and don't think you can change the world. You know, we're not that powerful, even as a group.
It's about thinking about what you're doing. Like, you're going to say that there's an issue, but then you're not going to be helping. You're going to be hurting more, you know? You're just about to talk, and then later we see you on a private jet. I'm like, fine, then take a commercial jet and just be in first class, you know?
Yeah, I guess I did tangentialize there a bit.
Yeah, I mean, what can we do? You know, we can do a little bit by you just being in first class and taking that, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's already gone. Sorry.
Yes. And on our last piece of news, we have texting tax. Tax to go to those who can't afford a cell phone be able to afford one. Aaron said he thinks it will not pass because those people who have to vote for it will not want to pay a tax like this.
Yeah, I've read an update on that, but first on the fact that it shouldn't pass. I don't know who it would go to a vote because California is, you know, people are voting, or they have voted already some measures that don't need to go to a vote, and the government can do whatever they want to. It was specifically for projects over $1 billion or something like that, that they would not have to put that to a vote. So I don't know what they would have, what was written for this legislation on the texting tax. But so the update that I read is that it will not pass. I have no other information, you know, regarding how it was even being proposed, and again, what was written for it, but it doesn't make sense. And it's not everybody's responsibility to make sure that everybody has a cell phone.
It's the same thing about It's the same thing about healthcare. I mean, they're forcing people to have healthcare, or you pay extra on your taxes. And I mean, there are people who just can't afford it. They'd rather put that money towards another meal or towards something else that's more important. I mean, people know that they're going to pay more if they don't have healthcare, but I mean, there are people who can't afford it, but they go to the doctor, like, let's say, once a year, and they go to a low budget clinic and they just pay out of their pocket at that time. But, or if they have a procedure that requires it, then they're going to get the health care and have it for 1 year and then get that procedure done, you know? And then after that,
Just to be nitpicky, I think we should use the words, it's the difference between health care and health insurance. Insurance is what is required of us to pay for, except for the people who don't have the income to pay for it, and then they join the government, the Medicaids, the Medicares, you know, the state-sponsored health insurance plans. And I don't know what it costs them to have people like me on it when I don't use it, because I'm not sick. And for people who don't want it, don't need it, aren't going to pay for it, and aren't saving to pay for emergency visits, that is their problem. It is people's individual responsibility to prepare for things like this, and parents' responsibilities to prepare their children who are, you know, young and entering the workforce, entering life, to prepare them to realize you need to save for emergency things, like suddenly getting sick, or suddenly, you know, a horrible accident gives you a big slice and you need to go to the emergency room.
Yeah, having healthcare helps, but if you can't afford it, don't force people, and don't force people to have it. Just make it available, and people know to plan for it. Like, buy healthcare a year in advance if they know they're going to have some medical things they need to deal with, because you have to have it at least for a year before you do a really expensive medical treatment. But I mean, in the bare sense, it should be a choice. Like, if you have the money to have it and you go to visit once a year and you just want it for the reassurance, then fine. But it shouldn't be forced upon people and saying that, well, it's your right to have one, but then if it's my right, then why am I being forced?
Yeah, right to have it.
Isn't a right a choice? Because that's why there's affordable alternatives if you don't have insurance or something. And then I don't agree that you want to shut down Planned Parenthood. I know you want to shut it down because that's where people go to get abortions, but they do a lot of other stuff aside from abortions. People go there for, like, low budget, to get checked for STDs, to get birth control, to get woman care, you know. And men can go there for men care too, you know. I mean, you see ill of one thing they're doing, fine, then don't fund that part. But then they can submit a paperwork saying, oh, this lady went in for birth control. Okay, fine. Then you should be happy that they did, because then they're not going to bring in another child into this life that they can't care for or might potentially abort, you know. And support that, you know. Support that and see that part of the thing they're doing is good, even though there's the other half that's not so good.
Who's trying to do this shutting down?
You haven't heard that there's always protests in front of Planned Parenthood that they want to close, and that there's like hardly any clinics left in certain areas, and there's always protests in front of it against abortion and stuff like that, you know.
Okay, so you're talking like general protests then. I didn't see anything specifically in the recent news about Planned Parenthood.
No, it's just like the pro-life movement. Every time you see a pro-life movement, 90% of the time they're going to be protesting in front of a Planned Parenthood. And, it's always up in debate, but now in the government, they said, let's put this aside. We have more important things that we have to discuss and worry about, like the border wall. And right now, it's hurting tourism, and right now it's hurting tourism in Tijuana. But
yeah, I mean,
Nancy Pelosi and all those Democrats think that I'm not saying don't allow immigrants in here, because they do help our economy, yes. But on the other sense, they need to be brought in a certain manner, not in just open the door and just let every single person come in. And then what? A, clog our highways. B, look how many of the hills are already being used for population. Check out the desert. One day, the deserts we drive in, like you pass all the time to get here, you pass the Mojave Desert to get here, pretty soon that's going to be populated. Watch.
And how long is it going to last? Because it's the water table is, I mean, they're doing weird things about wells and water out here, so
exactly.
Good luck to them.
And then they built San Jose, next to where Aaron's friend lives. They built housing up there, and then they knew that the soil was infested with asbestos, and they still built. And they said, oh, we'll kill the asbestos, we'll just drain the soil with water and clean it out. And I'm like, really? That's not going to eliminate asbestos. You just want to build more housing over there in the hills, and then people are just going to buy it unbeknowingly and get sick.
Yeah, we don't need more houses. They need to fix what they got, not bring in more people.
Well, see, that's what they did. That's what they did in those certain areas of San Jose, and then now those houses are going to become filled with asbestos because it's coming from the dirt, and no amount of water is going to clean it. You have to use harsh chemicals and stuff to get rid of asbestos.
Yeah, asbestos doesn't sound like something you can just wash away. Like, you can't drown it.
That's what the developers did. And it's a sad tragedy how they just build housing over housing, not with no concern to the environment around them and what's in the soil and
ironic
affecting us. They're just like, okay, we're gonna build more housing because people are coming in. And I understand that, but if the zone is not clear and you can't clean it, then don't build over there. Find some other place. And if you want to overpopulate the places with empty commercial buildings and stuff like that, I'm sorry. I know all these government people want to make money by building stuff, but then find another way to give them jobs. But you have to rent out all the spaces that we have first and make sure everybody can afford to live there or rent a space for their business. And then once every single place is filled, then worry about making more.
Yeah, the lack of concern for the environment, I guess, only counts for wild places, not places where people are already living. It's ironic that lack of concern for where you are living and how dense the population already is and how it's not as great as it once was, and doesn't sound like it's getting much better. It sounds like it's getting worse.
I agree with you on that one. So, on the article we have today for you and for discussion is Living to 100. Not exercising worse for your health than smoking, diabetes, and heart disease. study reveals. So, with any diet, with any plan that you're given by your doctor or for yourself, whether or not you go to the doctor, we all know that exercising at any amount, even if it's just climbing your stairs every day because you live upstairs, that's exercise. Walking 10 minutes a day is exercise. Or if you have a job that keeps you on your feet, walking back and forth, that counts as exercise. So, in my opinion, you should do any amount of it. Like my grandma, she didn't do much exercise. We walked when she was younger, but then she would also do stuff with her hands, like washing dishes or stuff like that. It keeps her agile and movement. So that's part of your exercise. You're working your arms, cleaning dishes, moving things around, cleaning things, You may not think that it's exercise, but in reality, it counts. It counts.
Yep. Keep moving to keep moving.
Exactly. So, fitness leads to longer life, researchers found, with no limit to the benefit of aerobic exercise. Of course, aerobic exercise is the more vigorous way if you're trying to slim up or tone your body, but any fast movement works the best. Or just 10 minutes on a cycle bike, or playing a little ping pong like my dad loves to do with our student. So fun.
There is such a thing as a reasonable weight. It's not necessarily a good thing that you have to accept all body types, because some body types are not healthy.
No.
Some they might be a little bit larger, but they're maybe healthy enough, as long as it's not, it's not terrible.
If you don't have trouble walking at a normal weight, then I say you're not allowed to use a mobility cart. Because I see people on a mobility cart that it's their weight that's causing them to be on a mobility cart. If truly you're at a normal weight and you still have trouble getting around, that's different. And yes, I understand the reason for mobility cart, but half the time I see people who, because of their weight and themselves, and then they tell us, don't judge us because we're this way and that way. I'm like, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that it's not fair to society, because you put yourself there, and then now you want us to pay. And then now you want us to pay for you to have one of those contraptions or other stuff, because now we have to give you a disability placard because you did what you did to your body.
We're paying for it through that socialized health care that is hopefully going to get repealed at some point and replaced.
I think it is, because they said that December was the last time you could apply for Obamacare. So I don't think it's going to continue into next year.
Hopefully. And then there was something else I was going to say. Oh yes, it's not politically correct to say it, but we are judging. We don't have to go out, protest, and shout in their faces about it, but we are judging, because that's what people do. They judge, they think, and they come to conclusions. Ergo, judge.
Yeah, I don't say it out loud. I just look at them, and if they're like normal weight, I don't say anything. If they're overweight, then I say, well, you put yourself in that position.
There are rare, devil's advocate here, there are rare instances where they didn't. But I'm going to go with, for the most part, yeah, they put themselves there.
Yeah, there's rare instances. That's why I don't judge out loud. I just think in my head. I just tell myself, I hope it's a medical condition and not because you just decided that it was the best solution to your life.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Even me right now, you may think I'm not have a weight issue, but when I have a hard time turning around and taking care of my behind, it becomes an issue. And I do kind of sometimes have that issue, so I'm trying to work on myself so I can be a little bit skinnier and be able to have no trouble and reach everywhere I need to reach without a problem. So, but I thank those people who want to boost my confidence and say I look okay.
Yeah, you know exactly what you've got. You're the only one who does.
Yeah, so I do
For
the best
each
I can.
individual.
I do the best I can. I eat the best I can, and we go from there. So, comparing those with a sedentary lifestyle to the top exercise performers, the risk of premature death is 500% higher.
Where did this come from? Is there like
It's
explanation of the study and the controls and all that?
I will get into that.
Okay.
Because like elder people who just stay in bed or sit down all the time get more frail faster than those people who move around. Move around all the time and do at least something. Because for the elderly people where I used to work, they have like chair yoga, they have like light stretching for people, 5-minute walking here and there, stuff like that. Because staying in bed all day is not going to help you. It's going to do bad for your body. Because they've already done studies where they paid people to be bedridden for like 1 whole year or 6 months to 1 year, and they did studies on how it affects your body. And you lose body definition, yes, but then some parts of your body start to atrophy because you can't really move it. Your knees buckle easier because you're not bending your knees or flexing them as much.
Yeah, I can see that. Just being stiff after a few hours, it's not moving. It's just compound that by
any form of exercise, even just stretching your body a little bit, hands in the air or touching your toes, even bending to pick up the laundry. Stretch and bend, So this is from the CNN, and the story comes from. We've all heard exercise helps you live longer, but a new study goes one step further, finding that a sedentary lifestyle is worse for your health than smoking, diabetes, and heart disease. Dr. Wal Jabir, a cardiologist at the Cleveland Clinic and senior author of the study, called the results extremely surprising. Being unfit on a treadmill or in an exercise stress test has a worse prognosis as far as death than being hypertensive, being diabetic, or being a current smoker. Jabir told CNN, "We've never seen something as pronounced as this and as objective as this." Because I've heard people who've been smoking half their life and then they're like 86 and never got any lung cancer, lucky them, but they're able to walk and they're not able to run a marathon, obviously, but they're able to walk and do slight exercise and still survive their life. Jabir said researchers must now convey the risks to the general population that being unfit should be considered as strong of a risk as hypertension, diabetes, and smoking, not stronger than all of them. It should be treated almost as a disease that has a prescription, which is called exercise, he said. In a related article, here's a picture, and I will link it in the video. I will have it at the end of the video for you to see more clearer. It's a 70-year-old woman who ran 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. That's just, I'm not saying all old people have to go run a marathon. I'm just saying how 70-year-olds and plus, they're more in tune with their body than it used to be back in the day.
People are just evolution or you know, people, even in just recent generations, people are meant to move around. They're not meant to sit around. You can't change it that quickly. We're not. Evolution goes in generations, not in decades. Yeah.
You can look at the people who the first generations, what are they called?
Hominids?
Yeah, hominoids, and the people before that. There was a name for them. I can't think of it right now. But all those people from the past. Oh, the Neanderthals. There we go. The Neanderthals from the past. Yeah, they didn't have much to do and they sat around, but they were nomads. They were always walking to their next destination. Only in the winter time did they stay because they had to find a cave to shelter them from the rain and stuff. But other than that, they were always walking around to their next destination, fishing, catching their animal. And the women who stayed behind, they did a lot of stuff. It was exercise enough to carry your kids in your arms, you know? It was exercise enough just to cook a meal.
Nobody was sitting around. This world is not static. The only animals I can think of that evolved to move slowly are sloths. And they have their purpose in the food chain.
Yeah.
And, you know, slugs and snails, they move slow too, but proportionately they're pretty quick. They can move fast if they want to. But they don't stop moving.
Life has become so easy for people because they can just sit on their computer, work from home, and order everything via Amazon, and it comes to their front door. And they can order from the Postmates and get their food delivered to them.
So not having to go outside and go shopping means you have lots of time to pick up your house and keep it clean, right?
Yeah.
That's hard work, and that's why nobody does it.
People work from home, and they just call the cleaning crew and say, please clean my house this week. Merry Maids!
And so where's all this money coming from, you know? It's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, I said. They just sit in their keister and work from home on their computer. And they don't have to get up out of their chair.
Yeah, well, they
just have to get up to get their order and then eat it. Get up to get their package and unpackage it and then use it.
Yeah, there's no excuse for such laziness.
People make money video gaming. They sit and play their video game for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, but then you got to get up and take care of your house.
Maybe they do. Maybe they live with their parents who do it for them.
They're not grown-ups then if they do that.
Researchers retrospectively studied 122,007 patients who underwent exercise treadmill testing at Cleveland Clinic between January 1st, 1991 and December 31st, 2014 to measure all-cause mortality relating to the benefits of exercise and fitness. Those who with the lowest exercise rate accounted for 12% of the participants. The study was published Friday in the journal JAMA Network Open. Cardiovascular disease and diabetes are the most expensive diseases in the United States. We spend more than $200 billion per year treating these diseases and their complications. Rather than pay huge sums of disease treatment, we should be encouraging our patients and communities to be active and exercise daily, said Dr. Jordan Metzel, sports medicine physician at the Hospital of Special Surgery and author of the book, The Exercise Cure. Because, sometimes like that, if you exercise enough, then you won't need to be on insulin anymore or take your medicine anymore.
Prevention is the best thing you can do. It's just, why are people so averse to preventing things by preparing? We have brains to see the future so we can do things now so that the future doesn't suck so bad.
Right. Kabir said the other big revelation from the research is that fitness leads to longer life, with no limit to the benefit of aerobic exercise. Researchers have always been concerned that ultra-exercisers might be at a higher risk of death, but the study found that not to be the case. Well, maybe ultra exercisers because they're the ones who ingest a lot of testosterone and stuff like that to get bulkier. And I'm not for that unless you want to become a bodybuilder or a power lifter. Then yes, do that. But if you're not, just for your health, you don't need all that muscle.
I don't think that they should do it anyway. You know, do it on your own merit. If you know, the basic necessities like food and water. You know, if you're going to go for specific foods, that's one thing. But to inject extra hormones, it's, you know, it's, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you that you can't do it?
There is no level of exercise or fitness that exposes you to risk, he said. We can see from the study that the ultra fit still have lower mortality. In the study that most fit individuals did the best, said Ms. Zell, was not involved in the study. Once cleared by their physicians, patients shouldn't be afraid to exercise intensity. The benefits of exercise were seen across all ages and in both men and women. Probably a little more pronounced in females, Jabir said. Whether you're in your 40s or your 80s, you will benefit in the same way. The risks, he said, becoming more shocking when comparing those who don't exercise much. We all know that a sedentary lifestyle or being unfit has some risk, but I'm surprised they overwhelm even the risk factors of strong smoking, diabetes, or even end-stage diseases. People who do not perform very well on a treadmill test, Jabir said, have almost doubled the risk of people with kidney failure or dialysis. So, I mean, even those people who have terminal illness and they can't really do much, their caregivers, they do help them exercise. They stretch out their legs for them. They massage their arteries. They push them in a wheelchair. What?
How do you massage an artery? Those are...
Well, not massage an artery. Well, massage your hands and help the blood flow through your hands.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Maybe that was the right massage your artery. But sometimes I can see my veins popping out, and I say, okay, they're massaging my hand while they're massaging my veins too.
Okay.
But yeah, to move the circulation around because they can't do it themselves, but at least some form of movement to keep them from getting atrophy.
Yep.
What made the study so unique, beyond the sheer number of people studied, he said, was that researchers weren't relying on patients self-reporting their exercise. This is not the patients telling us what they do, Jabir said. This is us testing them and figuring out objectively the real measure of what they do. Comparing those with a sedentary lifestyle to the top exercise performers, he said, the risk associated with death is 500% higher. The sedentary is just walking for the most basic that you need, basic necessity. But I mean, like I said, you can do anything for your health and not just having to like run a treadmill and you have to burn like 400 calories.
And if you don't do much, make what you do harder to do.
Right.
It'll give you some exercise.
Right. If you compare the risk of sitting versus the highest performing on the exercise test, the risk is about 3 times higher than smoking, Jabir explained. See, here's a picture of someone who's doing some form of Tai Chi stretching exercise, and that's as good as anything.
Stay moving.
Too. And exercise is good for your body and your mind, study says. He's like doing yoga clears your mind, and that's exercise for your mind. Or meditating, or doing meditating, going meditate. Think about your favorite chocolate. I don't know. Clear your mind and make it healthy. You know, take out all those bad thoughts out of your mind that you're thinking about. I know this world, there's a lot of bad things happening, but at least for an hour, you can just put it aside and have some peace and not stress about it because you can't really fix it on your own anyway.
Yeah, that's what bedtime is for. You sleep at night and you stop thinking about things. Then you wake up and deal with them
Yeah,
again.
that's why people have to de-stress before bed. Because sometimes they'll just dream about it. I've done that before.
Yeah, me too.
Comparing somebody who doesn't exercise much to somebody who exercises regularly, he said, still showed a risk of 390% higher. There's actually no ceiling for the benefit of exercise, he said. There's no age limit that doesn't benefit from being physically fit. Dr. Sajid Bursiri, a cardiologist at Lenox Hill Hospital, who was not involved in the study, said this reinforces what we know. Sedentary Western lifestyle have led to a higher incidence of heart disease, and this shows that it's modifiable. It's reversible, he explained, adding that doctors are really good at treating patients who have had cardiovascular events, but they can be prevented. We're meant to walk, run, exercise. It's all about getting up and moving. For patients, especially those who live a sedentary lifestyle, Jabir said, you should demand a prescription from your doctor for exercise. So, get moving. Because people are quick to prescribe drugs for everything, but you should try eating better and exercising and drinking tea.
Simple,
And
cheap things, inexpensive things, free things to help.
Try those first before popping pills. Because in Romania, they have a store that's just for teas and herbal stuff, and they send you with a prescription there of what tea to drink first. And they say if after 3 months you don't see any results, come back. Then we'll give you actual medicine. And then they tell them what they should eat and how they should live their life as well on top of that. But that's the first thing they try before self-medication. Because, it, and in the Western medicine, because doctors make money off prescribing you medicine. That's why that's their first go-to before they tell you to do everything else.
Yeah.
And psychiatrists, that's their job. Therapist's job is to use other forms of therapy to help you get better. But psychiatrists, that's their number one job. To clinically diagnose you and prescribe you some medication.
It's so sad that drugs, there are certain things that you go straight to drugs, like a serious infection like pneumonia. But I assume that the herbs and teas in Romania don't do that for serious things like that. It's for
Obviously not. You go to your doctor, and they're the ones who take your blood, and then they tell you, here's the reading, and then based on that, you'll be able to preventive measures. They say, okay, your salt level is too high, reduce your salt intake. It's not at a level where you need medicine to help you control it. So if it's at a level that they say just reduce your salt intake, then listen. Like right now, I'm helping my dad reduce his sodium because that's what they said was causing his hypertension. So food for him, I just put 1 pinch of salt. And if somebody says it's not salty enough, they can add more later themselves. Because oversalting, you can't fix oversalting in food. It's just if you overspice something, you can fix it. You can fix other spices by boiling it down. But salt, there's no way to fix it really.
Because I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I work cleaning pools, and so I eat a lot of salt because I exercise a lot, I guess. I sweat even in the winter, but I eat a lot of salt because I crave it.
Yeah. For you that's different. You don't have hypertension problem, and because you sweat it out.
That I know of, because I haven't been to the doctor in over a year.
Because you can go, oh yeah, I go once a year, I get my blood test done, and then they tell me what I need to do, and that's preventive measures. Because I don't have any, besides asthma and allergies, I don't have anything else that's serious. And I'm just doing it preventive, because my health insurance pays for it, and once a year is enough to go to the doctor for them to tell you you're clear. or watch out for this and watch out for that. And so yeah, but you already know what your body needs and doesn't need, and you're being careful. And of course, eventually you'll find a doctor there, and then you'll just get a checkup once. They'll check your blood, and then if you're good, then you're good for another year or two. Because if you're super healthy, then you don't need to get checked every single year. You just need to get checked once every 2 years. For me, because of these other things going on, I just like to get checked once a year just to be on the safe side.
Sensible.
So, yeah. So thank you everyone for watching. This concludes our video for this rainy Sunday in California and the sunny weather in Nevada.
Well, it's dark now, but it's clear skies.
Okay, clear skies. And brought to you today by Bayard Crafts. She has for you today.
So while I was working, or while we were talking, I was working on a hat. This is about half of it.
And I've shown you what the hats look like when it's finished. They're $10 each, so if you need a warm hat for winter, comment below and we can arrange that for you.
And then the other ready item for sale, I've got Crochet Tardis earrings. I don't know how much they are yet. They're probably also $10, but they will be posted in my Etsy shop.
Comment down below if you're interested, and she'll figure out a price for you. And thank you everyone again for watching. Like and subscribe and join our channel. And you can check my social media down below, and you can check Stefanie's social media down below and all her updates to what she's selling and what she's been working on for her business. And maybe you'll see her when you go to San Diego Comic-Con or San Jose Comic Convention. And thank you everyone again. Have a nice rest of your weekend, and we're out. Goodbye.
Bye.